Welcome back. We've had a couple lessons and now it's time for you to start filling things in so that you're more involved in what we're talking about here. Okay, quick review. It's important when we're thinking about graphing that we know how to locate a point, and then we're going to be graphing lines, so we have to understand slope of a line. And in both cases, we have to know where we're going to start, how we're going to move, and when we're done. And we will be practicing this in this practice session. You are looking at the handout that I've labeled Slope H2. And you have one of these, and I'm going to help you fill in the correct answers so this becomes a good study sheet. When we're talking about ordered pairs, we're really talking about two numbers in parentheses separated by a comma. So this is an example of an ordered pair. And that means that it's very important that you know what the 3 stands for and what the 5 stands for, so that the ordered pair makes some sense to you. We're going to be using XY ordered pairs. So the first coordinate will stand for whatever we want X to be, and the second coordinate will stand for whatever we want Y to be. A ratio is a fraction, and a fraction has a numerator and denominator, and so does a ratio. In our slope, when we're talking about slope, the numerator of the fraction will be the rise, the vertical movement, and the denominator will be the horizontal movement. And I will leave this in a good position so you can turn off you can pause the video and make sure you get all of this on your own notes. The slope of a line is the ratio of the rise to the run when there is movement along a straight line. So this should help you understand the words we'll be using as we go along. And you'll hear these so often I don't think you'll have a difficulty. So if you haven't already paused, pause the video and make sure this is all recorded onto your own sheet neatly so you can study it later. Okay, back to business here now. We're going to be doing some writing on this sheet. This is slope H3, and you should end up with something on this sheet, and they'll have even more work to do when we turn this over and work on the back. But these will be the answers that you can rely on to study for your tests. Okay, when we're locating a point, we always start at the origin. So if I'm going to locate the point 2, 5, then I have to have the axis looking to begin, because my starting point when I'm locating a point is always at the origin. So I'm going to start at 0, 0, and then because the 2 is the first coordinate, I'm going to have a horizontal movement 2 places to the right, 2 spaces. So I count 1 space, 2 space, and then before I mark the point, I have to have my vertical movement, which is going to be 5. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I go over 2 and up 5, that's where I want to mark my point. And I'm done when I mark the point. So the 2 is the horizontal movement, and the 5 is the vertical movement, and I'm done when I mark the point. Now slope is different. I'm going to change from horizontal first to having vertical first. If you were asked to draw the line that goes through A with slope 2/3, you'll notice we don't even have to know where the XY axis are located, because all we need to know is that this is a point on the line. And once I know that this point is going to be on my line, that's going to be where I start. I usually call that the launch pad. From here, I'm going to take the directions that are given to me in the ratio 2/3. The 2 is going to be the rise, so that's my vertical movement, and the 3 is going to be the run. That's the horizontal movement. So starting at point A, I'm going to go up 2 and over 3, and I'm going to mark a point there, but I'm not done because I'm trying to draw a line. Here I was trying to locate a point, but here I'm asked to draw a line. So those 2 points tell me exactly where I draw the line, and that's the only possible line that has a slope of 2/3 and it goes through A. So slope is rise over run. Now let's turn the paper over and we're going to practice some of these, and we're going to have to in some cases use both of our skills, both locating and slope. Let's see what happens. On number 1, we are asked to draw the line that goes through B with slope of 2/5. So B is going to be my launch pad. And my rise is 2 and my run is 5. When I mark that point, that's the second point, I use the launch pad with that point and I draw a nice generous line. I don't stop at those 2 points. I make a generous line through those 2 points. And that's the line through B that has slope 2/5. Number 2, our launch pad is at A and the slope is 1/4. So my rise, my vertical movement is 1, and the 4 tells me to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. I mark that point, then I connect the launch pad to that point, and I have followed the directions. I've drawn a line through A with slope 1/4. Okay? Problem number 3. Now my launch pad is not given with a letter, it's given with an ordered pair. So in order to find out where my launch pad is going to be, I start at the origin and I have a horizontal movement to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have a vertical movement down. I'm going to go down 2. Now I've located the point -4, -2. That's the point, -4, -2. That's my launch pad now for the slope. Now the slope tells me I'm going to have a rise of 3 and a run of 7. So from this launch pad, notice I'm not going back to the origin. When I'm doing slope, I do not expect to start at the origin. I could, but that would be just random. Most of the time, I will have a launch pad that's not the origin. So from this launch pad, -4, -2, I'm going to have a rise of 3 and a run of 7. Because that's what that ratio told me to do. Rise of 3, run of 7. So from the launch pad, I go up 3, over 7, and then I sketch the line. So I had to use everything we've talked about at this point. These are not too hard, but until you do a few, they can be confusing. Number 4, my launch pad is at -2, 1. Now, to get here, I have to start at the origin, horizontal first, -2, then a positive. That is my launch pad. To draw my line, I need to have this point and another point, which I will get out of my slope. Now this is important. When slope is negative, you have a choice. You can put the negative with the rise and the positive with the run, or you can put with the rise And then your negative would be with the run, but you can only have one negative sign, either top or bottom. So from this launch pad, I might decide to have a negative rise with a positive run, or I could have a positive rise with a negative run. But you'll notice I'm going to get the same line either way, because those are just equivalent ways of stating the value of -1/2. And let's look at the very last one, and then you can just think about this before we go on with the next lesson. In this case, my launch pad is going to be at 1, 3. To locate the point 1, 3, I start at the origin and I go horizontal 1, vertical 3. Now I have a launch pad. Now my slope will do me some good. Until I know where to start, that slope doesn't really help. But I know I'm starting here. Now I have a rise of 1 and a run of 3. Those 2 points can be connected to come up with the line that is described, and that's the only possible line that would work. Okay? If you can understand what we did there, that's just excellent. If you didn't understand it, you need to look at this video again. Thanks for listening.